What is stubbing in unit testing? Imagine you're trying to test a piece of software, but it depends on other parts that are slow, unreliable, or hard to set up. How do you make sure your test stays focused and runs smoothly? That's where stubbing comes in. Stubbing is a way to create simplified versions of objects or components that your code interacts with during testing. These stub objects are designed to give predictable responses whenever their methods are called. For example, if your code asks a database for user information, a stub can be set up to always return the same user data, no matter what. This way, your test doesn't depend on the real database, which might be slow or unavailable. The main goal of stubbing is to keep your tests isolated. When you replace real dependencies with stub objects, you can test your code's logic without worrying about external systems. This makes tests faster and more reliable. It also helps you focus on the specific piece of code you're testing, rather than the entire system. Unlike mocks, which also simulate dependencies, stubs do not check if their methods were called or how many times. They only provide fixed responses. This makes stubs simpler to set up and use. You just need to create a basic class or object that implements the methods your code calls, returning the data you want for the test. Stubbing is especially useful when debugging or fixing bugs. It allows you to isolate the unit under test and see if the problem is inside the code itself or in its dependencies. You can create test scenarios with controlled inputs, which helps reproduce bugs consistently. If a bug appears only when interacting with a real database or web service, replacing those with stubs can help you identify where the issue lies. Using stubs also speeds up testing because you avoid slow or resource-intensive systems. For example, testing a function that calls a web service can be quick and straightforward if you stub out the web service responses. You can even simulate error conditions or edge cases that are hard to produce with real dependencies. In summary, stubbing is a key technique in unit testing that creates a controlled environment. It replaces real dependencies with simple, predictable objects that return fixed data. This helps you focus on the code's behavior, makes tests more reliable, and speeds up debugging and bug fixing. When you want to improve your code quality and prevent bugs from sneaking in, mastering stubbing is a smart move.